Hello and welcome to Good or Bad. You know what's always a lot of fun? Shark movies. There are so many of them, some good, some bad, but they all have the same thing in common. They're not Jaws. Well, except for Jaws, but you can see what I was trying to do there. With the slow-moving camera, the suspenseful music, and the awesome-looking mechanical shark, Jaws is at the top of the food chain. And when I say awesome, I don't mean it looks realistic. No, I just mean it looks cool as hell. Plus, it's real. They can react to something that's actually properly real. And it worked in the water. Most of the time. In fact, you know that slow-moving camera I mentioned? The thing that the film gets so much praise for? Well, that only happened because the mechanical shark kept breaking down. So a technical hiccup on the set created one of the most suspenseful aspects of the movie. Okay, the usual info dump. This movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, slap yourself if you didn't know that, and was released in 1975. So what's it all about? Again, if you don't know that, proceed with slapping yourself. A great white shark terrorizes the summer town of Amity Island during one of the most important times of the year, the 4th of July, which in case you didn't know, is famous because that's the day the President of America fought off the aliens. So we have Police Chief Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider, marine biologist Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and veteran shark hunter Quint, played by Robert Shaw. So where do I start? Probably at the beginning. We all know how it starts. Girl goes swimming, her boyfriend passes out on the beach, and she gets killed to death. And it isn't a quick death either, they do drag it out, which I suppose for the faint-hearted makes it harder to watch. But I did always wonder how the shark drags her side to side like that, considering a shark cannot swim backwards. And it seemed too sudden a change in direction for it to be the shark turning around. Well, to be fair, the shark did reverse in Jaws 3, which I realise is a poor defence. A very, very poor defence. Cut to the following morning, we meet the police chief and his wife Ellen, played by Lorraine Gary. Chief Brody finds out about the girl washing up on the beach and goes to see the body for himself. Well, what's left of it anyway. He immediately correctly assumes shark attack and gets to work creating signs to close the beaches. You know, so no one else gets munched on. But some ignorant little mayor insists that it must have been a boating accident. Couldn't possibly have been a shark attack. He is played by Murray Hamilton. This doesn't sit right with Brody at all, but he is backed into a corner and cannot effectively close the beaches without the mayor's aid. Or should I say approval? You see, the reason he is so against the idea of a shark attack is because they are a summer town, and the 4th of July weekend is their biggest earner. And I suppose a shark attack may dampen the appeal a bit. Immediately after that scene, we have a lovely day at the beach where we see Bad Hat Harry, and oh yeah, a shark attack! Maybe it was just a raft accident. Okay, no, to be fair, it was too obvious to deny this time. They acknowledge the danger and have a meeting about it. So death number 2, 17 minutes in, and we do see more than a camera this time. We see some fins and blood. Well, I guess there was blood the first time around, but it was a bit too dark to see. But yeah, this movie gradually shows us more of the shark every time it attacks, until we get to the end and it goes full-on Brucey with us. And no, that is not a Finding Nemo reference. In fact, the shark named Bruce in Finding Nemo was a reference to the production of Jaws because Steven Spielberg nicknamed the mechanical shark Bruce after his lawyer. Alright, so the grieving mother of the boy that died posted a $3,000 bounty which is causing quite a stir. But what are the elected officials going to do about the shark? And their answer is shark spotters, extra summer deputies and an expert from the mainland. But that's not the biggest concern here. Oh no, the question of the hour is, are they going to close the beaches? Yes, as it turns out, yes they are. But because the people don't react well to this announcement, the mayor says that it's only for 24 hours, which is clever because sharks are less dangerous after they digest their food and are hungry again. Yeah.
I didn't agree to that. Only 24 hours.
I love that one woman who shouts out, 24 hours is like 3 weeks! I mean, she has a point, because if you think about it, it absolutely isn't 3 weeks at all, so she's wrong. The Simpsons-style rabble, rabble, rabble is cut short by Quint, who is offering to capture and kill the shark, but not for a measly $3,000. No, he wants $10,000. I have to say, I really do love Robert Shaw in this movie. Quint is so much fun to watch. Later that night, Brody yells at his kids to get out of the boat, and then we see two would-be shark hunters attempting to claim the $3,000 bounty. Their plan goes tits up. True enough, there is no death here, but the movie comes up with another clever way of showing us where the shark is without showing us anything. But I do wonder, old Brucey has got the tyre in his mouth and the chain is pulling the broken dock along behind him. The man isn't that far in front of the dock. Well, let's face it, it's more like a raft now. So I gotta ask, how close was the shark from actually getting him? A second away from death, or was he too close to the raft for the shark to have not got him? I can't decide whether this scene makes no sense or it's flat out brilliant. We never really see how much chain there was or whether it wrapped around the shark, so I guess we will never know. Either way, I like that scene. But anyway, intro Matt Hooper.
Well, then, can you tell me if there's a good restaurant or hotel on the island?
You walk straight ahead.
They're all gonna die.
So yeah, he is a marine biologist, the one that Brody's sent for, and he wishes to see the remains of the first victim. He confirms that that first death was in fact a shark attack. Well, I for one am very glad that that's cleared up now, because I think we can all agree that was still up for debate. We see that a hunting party found and killed a shark. Yes, a shark. Probably not the shark. Which is Hooper's conclusion as he examines the mouth against the bites that were present on the first victim. Hooper wants to perform an autopsy on the shark to confirm whether or not this is the shark that killed the boy. But now that everyone thinks the shark is dead, Mr. Mayor is against any such progress that might save lives. So what are they to do? We'll wait until dark and cut the fish open anyway. And what do they find? You guessed it, it's the wrong shark. But the mayor won't listen without more evidence, so they go out to find some more concrete proof. They come across a wrecked boat that just so happens to belong to one of the fishermen who went out looking for the bounty. Brody wants to tow it in, but Hooper is a little impatient and wants to check the hull. Yeah, it's not like you said that the shark that's killing everyone is a night feeder. Oh wait, you did. As you may expect, this scene is used purely to build tension and deliver a jump scare. Hooper finds the tooth of a great white, which absolutely proves that it wasn't the tiger shark that the other fisherman caught. But yeah, he dropped it when he got startled by the dead head, which conveniently drifted towards him at that moment, seemingly for no reason at all. I mean, the tooth he pulled out of the hull wasn't holding it back or anything, although maybe he did knock something else loose when he pulled it free. Maybe it makes sense, or maybe it's just a dumb forced jump scare, I don't know. So now they have no proof that it wasn't the tiger shark, so Mr. Mayor won't listen to them. So it's the 4th of July, and everyone is on the beach. Yes, on the beach, not in the water. That is, until the mayor persuades a family to go into the water, and I love the look on their faces. But that restores everyone's faith, and it's business as usual. Well, not completely. They have extra lookouts, and Brody stops his son Michael going out into the sea. Instead, he tells him that if he wants to take the boat out, it has to be in the lagoon, which is still connected to the sea, so it's not really that much safer. In fact, It's more dangerous because sharks are more likely to attack people separated from mass groups. But I suppose it's the thought that counts? The lookouts get distracted by a prankster which forces them to get everyone back to the beach. But because Michael and his friends are in the lagoon, they didn't hear the commotion, so now it's even more likely that he will be attacked. Guess he was lucky that there was some random guy in a boat to get munched on instead. I love this scene because not only is it a pivotal moment for our main character due to his son being so close to the attack, but because this is the first time we actually see the shark. I'm running out of ways to say how cool this is. Witnessing someone's death puts Michael into shock, but ultimately he is okay. But this pushes Brody to force the mayor to pay Quint to kill the shark. Which means we get to see Hooper and Quint meet for the first time. And they really don't seem to like each other. Which works quite well because apparently the actors couldn't stand each other, so that makes for some very realistic and engaging acting. So a little over halfway into the movie they step on board the orca and set out to kill the shark. Quint's plan is essentially to wear the shark down, but that means finding him first. And what do you know? They do find him.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
One of the most famous lines in the movie, and it was ad-libbed by Roy Scheider. Quint puts his plan into action and fires harpoons into the shark, tethering a barrel to him. And because it floats, it will gradually tire the shark out and force him to the surface, so now it's just a matter of time. They exchange war stories, but it turns out that Quint has some actual war stories. He shares his experience of being a crew member aboard the USS Indianapolis, which, if you don't know, is the ship that carried the atom bomb during World War II, and after delivering the bomb got torpedoed by a submarine, and they spent days drifting in the ocean, slowly being picked off by sharks.
So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945.
Yeah, it's completely a true story and is one of the most engaging scenes in the entire movie. A few sea shanties later they are attacked. This time they opt for a more direct approach.
Right. Superman, take the wheel.
Oh look, a shooting star. That's nice. And look, there's another one! So according to a documentary made in 1995, this one is genuinely real, just a happy accident, but it doesn't say anything about the second one. But anyway, the sun has risen and the orca is in very bad shape. Brody wants to call in for reinforcements, but Quint's ego won't let him. So with no chance of reinforcements, they proceed with the original plan and stick another barrel on him. You may have noticed that the other one has come loose, but I didn't want to waste time pointing that out. Yet here I am pointing it out, so that decision was completely pointless. Alright, they don't lose him this time and manage to run him down and stick another barrel to him. So now he is being weighed down by 2 barrels. Or would it be weighed up? Under the sea it's like another world. When the barrels stop moving, they tie them to the boat and stick him with a third. I guess their plan was to use the boat to wear him down even more, but it kinda backfired. So they cut him loose and Quint insists that he cannot go under with 3 barrels on him. Ah, now you're getting it. They tried to draw him into the shallows and drown him, but the engine fails, so there is one final option. The shark cage. Hooper can inject poison into the shark that will kill him dead, but he has to get the shark in the mouth, because he cannot pierce the shark's skin. During this scene, the movie mixes footage of the mechanical shark with footage of a real great white. And while it does give us a look at what a real great white looks like, I find that it takes you out of the movie. Because let's face it, this isn't a 100% accurate shark movie. They exaggerate the more aggressive traits towards humans. Which, to be fair, does create a better movie, but if you want accuracy, go watch a documentary. For example, in the year 2000 there were 79 reported shark attacks worldwide. That's in an entire year. In just 4 days in this movie, how many shark attacks have we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, and Pippin the dog as well. Sorry, I had to mention Pippin the dog. I skipped Pippin before. May Pippin rest in peace. So yeah, if this movie was typical of the yearly statistic, there would be 1 shark attack every day. That would be 365 shark attacks a year compared to the year 2000 statistic of 79. So yeah, not an accurate shark movie. Instead, a very good monster movie. But back to the movie. The shark attacks the cage and Hooper drops his only means of killing the shark. He manages to escape as the shark tears the cage to pieces and he hides on the seabed. Meanwhile, old Brucey has had quite enough of this. The movie goes either all out fake looking or all out awesome. Personally, I think it's a bit of both as Quint falls into the jaws of death. But 1 meal isn't enough for him and he comes back straight away for Brody. But he throws the oxygen tank into the shark's mouth which makes him retreat. So these oxygen tanks have been mentioned a few times over the last hour, most noticeably when Brody pulled the wrong knot.
You screw around with these tanks and they're gonna blow up.
Can you see where this is going?
Smile, you son of a...
You know, with a small target area, the water blocking the view of the tank, the speed of the shark, and the resistance the water would provide to the bullet, I don't know which is the more impressive shot. This or Luke destroying the Death Star. So the shark is dead and Hooper is alive, as he pops up to the surface after presumably watching the shark explode. They swim back to the shore and they all don't live happily ever after. So that was Jaws, one of my favourite movies of all time, definitely my favourite shark movie. The movie had the perfect cast, yet according to numerous sources, the only cast member that was Spielberg's first choice was Murray Hamilton. The effects were very good for 1975, and while newer movies such as The Shallows do have more authentic looking sharks, I think they lack the menacing presence that the mechanical shark in Jaws had. Plus you get cool set photos like these. As I'm sure you know, Jaws was based on the Peter Benchley novel, and in the past I've done another video, a very, very old video, where I say which I prefer, the movie or the book. I talk about the differences, and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm not going to go into much detail on that in this video, but I will say that ultimately I preferred the movie because it had more likeable characters. Now with that said, I do find that there are 2 parts to this movie. There's the shark, and then the effects the shark has on the town.
Amity is a summer town. We need summer dollars.
Yeah, that one line pretty much sums up the effect the shark has on the town. A shark attack would cause a lot of panic, so convincing the mayor that there is a real shark problem is the first half of this movie. Hell, after the mayor witnesses a shark attack for himself, Brody has to do it all again because some idiots caught a random different shark. So then we had to wait for the shark to inevitably attack again and give the mayor proof that there's still a shark around. And you know what? I love this. It paints the mayor as a cowardly pushover that wants to please as many people as he can, so short-sightedly that he cannot see the immediate danger. It's not that he is greedy or that he doesn't care, he just doesn't want the town to suffer because of a panic. But he cannot see that by not upsetting the town he will make things worse in the long run, both for himself and for the town. This is a perfectly realistic and not uncommon character trait. So when the first half wraps up, we move on to hunting the damn thing. Now this is where the movie shines. The actual shark hunt, or fishing trip if you like, is given the time that it deserves. The characters have great chemistry, especially Hooper and Quint, so the fact that we see no other characters for the rest of the movie is not in any way a problem. So we go from literally fishing, then this immense build-up to the awesome ending, and what's even better is that their plan to wear the shark down makes sense. So we have no random monster movie plan that is so ridiculously far-fetched that we just have to accept it or risk our heads blowing up in frustration, or maybe that's just me. So yeah, I love this film. Not sure I have made that clear enough yet. It has an awesome soundtrack that I think anyone with ears knows. Great pacing, builds suspense masterfully and fleshes out its characters and what they are trying to protect just enough as the movie needs to. Too much and it would have been detrimental to what the movie was about. The goddamn shark. You have been watching Good or Bad, and I'll see you next time.